Let go of negative emotions to supersize your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's talk about this today. How do we let go of negative emotions? Why do we care? What are negative emotions? I think we all know what negative emotions are. Negative emotions are any emotions that feel heavy to us or hold us back. They don't just impact us, they impact everybody else in our business. Have you ever noticed if you're in a bad mood at work or in your office, you got a skull on your face, people will just walk by your office door and they won't pop in and talk to you when they had something that they obviously walked by your office door to talk to you about in the first place? I might have experienced that once or twice in my life and in my career, both corporate and non-corporate, running my own businesses. So we want to identify negative emotions as soon as we can possibly identify them, right? In ourselves and in other people as well. In conversations, we want to know if people are feeling anxious, stressed out, fearful, scared, panicked, uncomfortable, miserable, hating, etc. We want to know if they're being impacted by any of these negative emotions so that we can help them to realize the impact that they have and these feelings have on them when they're trying to go about and do their job and help us grow and build and supersize our business, both employees as well as our customers. If we understand our customers' emotions and emotional cycles, we can find ways to alleviate their negative emotions, enhance their positive emotions, and make them, help them, literally, really help them. That's why we're in business, to solve their problems and make their life better and create the life they want, just like we're building our business to create the lives that we want. So what are some ways we can go about letting go of these negative emotions and, or at least dealing with them to the extent that they don't negatively impact our business, our decision making, our ability to grow and build and supersize our business? And I don't remember where I learned it. It's been so long. Somehow I came across this 8X, meaning 8 times to release a negative emotion. So one day I came up with this idea. I was in my Italian food manufacturing days, and I was frustrated a lot back then. And I realized that frustration stemmed from me expecting things to be different than they were, which is a story for a whole different day. But I decided I was going to release a negative belief, which is a negative emotion, right? A negative belief stems from a negative thought that we either think a lot or it's linked to a strong emotional event. There you go. So it's always tied to emotions. Our thoughts are tied to our emotions and feelings. And the pictures that we visualize in our mind come from our emotions and feelings. Guess what? Everything comes initially from our emotions and feelings. We sense and feel things first, and then we add meaning to them with words and pictures and past experiences that we add and pile on to those things. Anyway, I heard somewhere that 8 times you needed to release something. So I decided one day at work when it was just me that I think it was probably I don't remember what day of the week it was. It doesn't matter. It might have been, I don't know what day, but it was just me at work, or down at my shop, I called it. And I decided I was going to do 8 different letting go strategies. And we're going to go over those tomorrow. I'm going to pull up my old videos. I'm not sure if I'm going to show them or not. I'm not sure how embarrassing they are because they're from before I even started doing video. They were just videos I recorded. I don't even remember what I recorded them on. And so I want to go back and find those. And tomorrow we're going to dig into those deeply because I think it's extremely powerful to take a negative emotion or a feeling or a belief and then do different actual physical fun ways of eliminating and destroying that. To me, it was really powerful. And whenever there's something that comes up that I really want to get rid of, I go through a similar process. I do different techniques, which I'll share tomorrow, but it's really powerful. So if you can find 8 different ways, 8 different creative ways of letting go of this and releasing it. And why do we want to release it? Because until we release a negative emotion and send it on its merry way with love and light or whatever works for you, and turn it into something positive, it will have negative ramifications on us that we cannot even imagine or fathom. And most of us will never think through or meditate along the lines of, or journal or do anything to figure out and untangle how they're actually impacting us. We all do this. It's human nature. So we don't beat ourselves up for it. But the more self-aware we are, the better decisions we make, the better we manage our emotions, the more emotionally intelligent we are. The more emotionally intelligent we are, the better we are in our relationships, interacting with other people, and being better human beings, which is what this year's challenge is all about. And what I'm pulling into supersizing and growing our business, because I think there's so much information out in the world on how to do things and how to grow and how to scale and how to supersize and all these different strategies. And I've talked literally thousands of days about different strategies to grow and build and supersize our businesses. And this year, I want to, as I get older, simplify and bring things together and merge them in a way that enhances every area and aspect of our lives, not just our business and not just our personal development. Although I will say the best thing you can do for your business ever is to invest in yourself and do personal development. Take care of yourself, understand yourself better, get aligned with yourself, who you are and how you want to show up in the world. So today, what are some of these technologies and strategies we can use to let go of a negative emotion? Identify one negative emotion that you're experiencing in your business today. I guarantee there's at least one. If not, I'm not sure you're a human being. You might be AI or a robot. But pick one thing. I'm going to stick with frustration because I've been working on that a little bit all this month. And so I'm going to say frustration. Where is frustration showing up in my life? Where is it showing up in my body? Where is it showing up in our organization? Is it showing up in how we communicate and talk to one another? Is it showing up in our physical communication, either our texts or our email messaging? You can read a text or an email and get a negative tone or emotion out of it very, very easily. And that might not be the intent that the person sent it with, but you still might experience that and feel that. It usually comes from our own interpretation of what we read and see and experience, but there can be elements of both, right? So we want to keep an eye on that. We can use hypnosis, visualization, swish pattern, Tony Robbins thing from NLP, flip switch we've talked about, meditation, physical activities and ways of letting go. So I am curious, have you ever used a letting go strategy to deal with a negative emotion? If so, share in the comments below what it is. You can give us a little bit of background and the story and how it worked for you or not, but share at least what the strategy was so we can learn from one another. And then tomorrow I'm going to share my maybe embarrassing physical letting go strategy, because I think it's so powerful. We want to have something like that we can create for ourselves that works whenever we need it. All right. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, share your stories of letting go in the comments below, and I will, of course, see you tomorrow.